Welcome back to the Codex Station Comic Character of the Week, where we take one character, do a deep dive, give you all the badass moments, the must-reads, the top covers, and everything you wanted to know about that guy. And that guy is right down there. I'm your host, Sal the Slab Guy. As always, with me are my usual partners in crime. Usually this one switches out, but tonight we have J-Dub, the master of the disaster himself. And of course, we have Uncle Gary, preacher of the lore, the Ric Flair of comics. And of course, down below is Dan the Man Kelly from Dan Kelly Art. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Great.
Doing great.
Meatwad, the good Lord has allowed me to live another day, so I'm about to make that everyone's problem.
Well, there you go.
Nice.
There you go.
You got to have goals.
Yep. Sal, you're using what's on my Comic Logic card, the Preacher of the Lore.
What's up,
Yeah, I
Rick?
decided to throw that line in today. That was
like
pretty
that.
cool, wasn't it?
Like that. I thought for quite a while, about what I was going to put on the card. Yeah, Preacher of the Lore, and that's what I am.
I like
and
it.
hey,
I
Richard,
like it,
good
too.
to see you, brother.
Richard, what's up, buddy?
It's the truth,
Yes.
baby.
So I figured I'm going to start trying to post maybe a couple of hours before the show in the Comic Character Facebook page, which we all are a part of. So that way people get a little more coverage, and maybe people will remind people like, "Oh, that's on tonight."
Why
You just did that with the knife. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are you just like?
Sorry,
waving a knife around for?
This isn't a Bushman episode. This is.
I'll just put that away for now.
Archduke Kevy is just freaking killing it with
Thanks, bud.
adding people.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know.
What about this one? Wildcat Grant's Gym.
That's a good one.
What about this one?
Oh, there you go. My favorite character, Aquaman. There we go.
Yep.
I didn't have an Animal Man
look,
shirt,
James
but I had
James
I had
James.
another DC character whose name starts with an A and ends with a man.
There you go. Very good. I thought Jamie was going to show us his breastises for a second there when he was
I
going.
know.
Anything for you, okay.
Oh man! All right. Well,
why is it like
Baltimore's
Archduke,
really going to be memorable
in here?
Yeah.
Archduke should be on the show. Like he should be up there in the little corner. Just a picture of him for this show.
Hey, he's busy Thursdays now.
I know he's busy.
Who's busy?
Yeah, that's what he says. My Thursdays are booked, and if he's not in the chat, I'll believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And who is this we're talking about?
Archduke.
Archduke.
Oh, well, I tell you what, Archduke. Oh,
Thank you, Richard.
there you go. Not a bad choice. Archduke will be a part of this show because this is his favorite character.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
One of the covers, one of the badass moments, and one of the must reads in my three come from him. I reached out
Really,
to
one of
him.
my
and got-
tweets came from him too, because
Okay.
I texted him. I was like, "All right, this is your favorite character. I
Yep.
have only read." I was like, outside of crossovers and stuff, there's only a couple individual issues of Animal Man I've read. So, like in the Grant Morrison stuff, I was like, "So, what do you recommend?" And then, of course, he's like, "Oh, 1 through 85, volume 1, 1 through 70, volume 2. I'm like, "Yeah, thanks, Kevin."
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
he did give me the one that he said is his favorite Animal Man story. I was like, well, that'll be thrown in my reading then.
yeah. I wanted to represent him. I wanted to represent him since this is his favorite character and he couldn't be here to do it. So,
well, that's why I threw this out there because I knew it was his favorite character, and we haven't done an episode of it yet.
But,
so I wanted to make sure.
Did you do that as a benefit for him, or did you do that to hurt him terribly because you knew he couldn't be on the show?
Bit of both.
Bit of both. That's right.
Well, I did it. I did it so I'm going to mess up all the stories, get all the badass moments wrong, and completely talk about.
By the end of this,
you're
gonna by the end of this, you're gonna be like, Jamie's talking about Blue Devil.
Well,
That's right.
Didn't you say you had a badass moment after Taco Bell? Didn't you say that?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Well, Jamie was just mad because when he's like Deadpool for next week, I was like, shouldn't we wait until the movie comes out so that when there's like more eyes on it, we do that? He's like, God damn it, fine, we'll do another one.
I wanted to do it because it's someone's birthday Monday, and I wanted to do an episode for it.
Well, you should have said that then. I was just thinking, like, why not do it when the movie comes out?
Because reasons.
That's just too logical, man. We can't have logic in this.
Yeah, you can't confuse things with facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of birthdays, my daughter's 6th birthday is at the end of the month.
6th.
I cannot find a place for a damn birthday that is affordable. Everything is super expensive.
Check out the mini golf, the indoor mini golf one in Gaithersburg. Monster Golf.
I've taken her to Monster Golf a couple times, and she just He just,
You know what's really
Doesn't pay
affordable?
attention
Your
to
living
it.
room.
There you go.
If we had a nice house, I would, but we have a little townhouse, so there's no way you'd have a bunch of kids running around here. Though Kate did find, I was like, yeah, maybe we find like an Airbnb and just rent the house out for the day. She doesn't want to do it for this because she thinks that from where we are, it would be too far for people to drive to Silver Spring. But there's a legit castle in Silver Spring you can rent out as an Airbnb for $300 a night.
Wow.
I was like, well, we're definitely going to that sometime.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you let her be a little older. She'll have better memory of it. You know, you're at an age where she's pretty young. Let that be an indelible memory when she's a little older. And you had a birthday this week too, my friend. So happy birthday to you.
Oh,
Happy
yeah.
belated birthday there.
Yeah.
But I did tell my dad, though, because he hasn't been to any of her birthday parties yet, because her birthday's right around Memorial Day, and he's always ended up doing stuff with the plane. Then I was like, look, you got to come to the birthday party this year. Like, you're getting to the age where she's going to start remembering this stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and while we're thinking about, we're talking about the comic character of the week schedule. Let's remember that June 6th, that's Sergeant Rock, and Mike will be on. Mike Harbor, my best friend, will be on. So let's just remember that's.
I can't wait for that one.
That is a Sergeant Rock show. And let me tell you, of all of the characters we've done so far, picking covers is hard. Ain't none of them been anywhere near this hard for the Rock covers. I'm already losing my mind on which only 3. Because let me tell you, there are I could do 50 Sergeant Rock covers and still be hurting. So
thank you, Richard.
Yep.
I'll say this too, me and Sal are recording our members only top 10 tonight. And then I'm doing the one with Sonny next week because he was too sick to do it this week. And the one we're doing next week is top 10 actors that should have played comic heroes or villains. And in honor of Uncle Gary, one of the ones on my list is an actor who should have played Sergeant Rock.
Ooh, wow!
There we go.
Members will have to tune in to
I wish Sal and I could get some feedback on the Wonder Man. So that was the Beast show, Avenger. Nobody's seen it but me and you, Sal. It was such
I know.
You know what?
We have a couple views on it. It's good. Wait till it goes public.
No, but nobody here at the station has seen it, have they?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I watched it the day it was put out.
Okay.
I helped him edit it. Like I said to Sal that day, I was like, people are gonna have to watch and see the truth on why he's an Avenger.
Oh, very good, Jamie. I love that.
Well, one of the topics.
Sal fired Jamie. Jamie fired Sal. There we go.
One of the top 10s I tried to get Sal to do. I was like, they did top 10 Justice Leaguers. I was like, let's do top 10 X-Men, and then you can just list Beast for each
10
one.
times. Beast 10 times. Yep.
Yep.
Oh.
But speaking of memberships, Jamie, tell them about memberships because we got to talk about that.
Well,
yeah, guys, right now you guys can sign up as a member. You guys are going to get exclusive content before anybody else. Right now we're running top 10s, and we're going to be doing a game show here pretty soon. They're going to be for members only. Now, those will be public a month after they are already done. So you guys get a chance to see them then as our actual audience. But every little bit helps this little channel that can, because we are doing everything we can for you because we love this as much as you do. So guys, join up, and super chats are open as well. So if you guys want your chat or anything you want to say highlighted, it's as little as $1. We miss stuff now. Yep. You guys are just lighting us up half the time. So
yeah, that's true.
If you guys want anything known or said or anything important, go do it that way.
Let's highlight what Snoop said just a minute ago about Sergeant Rock.
The best Sergeant Rock covers.
Yep. Exactly right. In this day and age, a lot of folks in this country have lost their way on how you should treat a Nazi. Sergeant Rock will show you how to treat a Nazi on many, many, many covers. 291 is what I would recommend highly.
Okay.
For those who
there you go.
Or Army War 291. And that is on that not short list, that long list of mine. But the one that will definitely be there will be the one you'll see on Comic Character of the Day for Memorial Day. I show that cover every stinking
Oh yeah.
year.
Mhm.
And it's Rock holding up dog tags and the grim look on his face. And one of the dog tags has got a bullet in it. He said, "Yeah, me and Easy took that hill, but this is what it cost."
Mhm.
Well, that's what I tell people too. When I tell them, who's your favorite character? I'm like, oh, Captain America. And they go, oh, why? I'm like, because in his first appearance, he's on the cover punching Hitler.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, you guys ready to jump into this character then?
Let's dive in.
Yes.
Just
Dive
like
in.
Buddy will turn into a fish and just dive in. That's right.
That's right.
But he's
All right.
fish.
He's a fish.
He's an
We're going to
elf.
start off with some groovy bass tones, and we'll see everybody in about.
Is
45
Jamie allowing that? Is he allowing the groovy
I
bass?
just give up on life now, so go ahead, Sal.
Groovy bass tones it is, baby. What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Codex Station, Comic Character of the Week, where we take one character, do a deep dive on that character, and give you everything you need to know. Badass moments, top covers, must-read stories, and so much more. I'm your host, Sal the Slab Guy, and my lights are changing accordingly for Animal Man. We're going red, ladies and gentlemen. As always, to join with me is down below is Dan the Man Kelly, the master of Instagram. Right next to him is the Ric Flair of comics, the preacher of the lore, Uncle Gary, and of course, the mastermind behind everything that's going on these days, ladies and gentlemen, J-Dub.
Yeah, you gotta be the red. I gotta be the green, baby.
Okay, all right. So focusing a little red lantern tonight, huh?
I'll
I'm
be,
not sure what it is about these lights. They change color every time.
Well, as
At
long
this
as
time.
it's not the brown lantern.
that,
No, it's not brown. It's not the brown
Consider-
lantern.
considering how old I am, I'll be the rod, I guess.
You're more of the life.
I'm more the life.
Yeah.
You're the life of the party, pal. Life of the party, pal.
Life of the party.
Well, tonight we are doing everything about Animal Man tonight, as Snoop is posting up there. Uncle Gary's got the good old action figure. Dan, why don't you go ahead and give us the intro on this guy?
All right. Well, Animal Man, his first appearance was all the way back in September of 1965 in Strange Adventures number 180, created by Dave Wood and the legendary Carmine Infantino. His origin has changed. His original origin was that he was a Hollywood stuntman that gained superpowers after being infused with radiation from an exploding spacecraft. After Crisis, it was changed where he was out on a hunting trip with a friend, and there was an alien spacecraft and it blew up and it destroyed him, and the aliens rebuilt him and he got his powers that way. I'm not really sure, honestly, which one is canon right now, but those are the two different ones. And as far as his powers, he can mimic the abilities of any animal, even ones that are extinct. He can talk to animals. He can enter their minds, and he can have like animal properties when he really gets into it, claws, fangs, that sort of stuff, and can kind of become animals as needed.
Nice. Yep. And Snoop says in there, he's always had a pretty cool costume. Got to agree. I do like his costume.
Yes.
It is pretty cool. But
And
before
thing is an avatar of the green for plants.
That's right.
Animal Man is an avatar of the red for animals.
There
Yes,
you
he
go.
is.
Very good. But there's a connection in there with Swamp Thing as well.
Yes, they are.
Okay. All right, but before we jump in, J-Dub, why don't you tell us about Super Chats and memberships?
Yes, guys, we do have memberships open now, so that is going to be exclusive to people that do pay a little bit of money, just as much as a cup of coffee per month. It gives you access to shows early, shout outs, talk to us, and we're
Mhm.
probably doing streams too, specifically for you too. So make sure if you do get a chance to, every little bit helps this little station that could. And super chats are open. Guys, we do have a lot of chats now, and sometimes it's hard to manage. So if you want something highlighted, even as low as $1, you know, put it out there so that way it's highlighted, we catch it, and it'll be up on the screen for you.
There you go. There you go. Good job. All right, so we're gonna jump right in and do work with what scenarios work best with this character. And Uncle Gary, since you're the preacher of the lore, why don't you go ahead and start us off on that?
Well, what scenarios work best for this character is how they have adapted him to be, I think, the avatar of the red. I really love that is, he is on equal footing with what Swamp Thing is with the green, and he is the avatar of the red, and that the bioelectric field of all living things courses through him. And I know there have been instances where he's even able to mimic the abilities of alien animals, which is kind of cool. But that being that in touch and being the avatar of the red, and the other thing I think is an important aspect of this character is he is a very dedicated family man, and we don't get a lot of that in comics. So he has a wife and 2 kids for a while, but
Yeah.
I just love his dedication to his family, and that it wasn't so much that him being a superhero, that puts a strain on the family, and he's willing to give that up. But when he became the avatar of the green, that's harder to give up because that is a protector of a lot of the life on Earth. So it became not just being an adventurer, it became being a responsible custodian of the red. And he had to answer that calling at the expense of his own family. So I think that makes him a very, very kind of tragically conflicted hero, where he does things for the greater goods, but at a great personal cost to him. But that's the version of Buddy Baker that I like the best.
Okay. All right, J Dub, how about you?
Owen Gary kind of stole mine.
Sorry about that.
He's the preacher of the lore. He does it.
But no, I do like him as the family man. I really like to see how that superheroism adapts to a family rather than like Superman. We all know what could happen if you mess with Superman, but like these kind of heroes, how they go through it every single day and still have to come home to their family, and their family wondering if they're gone for days, if they're ever coming back. With him, with sometimes less of a family, how that affects him as well.
Okay. Snoop says, "Amen."
Amen, brother. There you go,
That's right.
Snoop.
That's right. So I'll go ahead and go next. I'm pretty much going to echo what you guys have said. Family Man, number one. Yeah, I love that part of him. I do like that he's an avatar of the red. I really like that and how it can interact with Swamp Thing and the avatar of the green, and of course the avatar of the rot as well. So I like how that too does work out. I do like him being a family man, and that's stuff that right there that I think works best for him. I like where he can mimic the animal's power sets as well. So if he's mimicking something that can regenerate, like an earthworm, he can do that as well. And I kind of like that. It's not just mimicking the animal for whatever it is, but it's also you getting the whole subset of what that animal can do. And I like that. How about you, Dan? What you got?
Yeah, so I like like what you said about him being a family man and very much being involved with worrying about his wife and his kids, and at times being more concerned with being a family man instead of being a superhero and just kind of getting dragged into that. But I also like that he's kind of used to tell these experimental kind of stories, because before Grant Morrison launched that Animal Man series that he did, he it's not like he was popping up a lot all over the place. He was introduced a time ago, but he was used very sparingly. Like he, has a few appearances at first, and then he just, kind of disappeared for a while until Crisis, and then Grant Morrison did what he did with him. And I think it's because he was a character that wasn't, that was established but wasn't popular, so he could do kind of whatever he wanted with him. And then other writers have taken that and run with it too, where even though he's a superhero, there'll be, whole story arcs where he's not doing any superhero stuff, and it just gets into, these, different, questions about, what is it to be alive, and all these different philosophical things. So I think he works good that way too, when it's not just, oh yeah, he's a guy that can have the powers of an animal and he's, running around with, the Justice League C team.
Justice League C team. That's pretty
funny.
C team. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on to our next segment, which is 3 of our most badass moments. And Dan, you could go ahead and kick us off first on that one.
All right, so all of mine are going to be from the volume 1 of his series. So I've got Animal Man 3, where he's fighting a guy who cuts his arm off, and he regenerates his arm after copying the traits of an earthworm that's below him. He's like, oh, earthworms, when they get cut in half, they just regenerate, and he grows himself, an entire new arm. And then in the following issue, he's fighting the Bawana Beast, and since the Bawana Beast gets his power from animals, the story is that the Bawana Beast has come from Africa because this gorilla that is, close to him, that's a special gorilla, has been kidnapped and experimented on so they can, try and find a cure for this disease. So they've infected the gorilla with it. Bawana Beast comes in, breaks the gorilla out, and, it's dying because of this, of this disease. And it affects Bawana Beast. It could potentially infect the whole city. So Animal Man absorbs Bawana Beast's powers and then uses them to save Bawana Beast's own life. So I thought that was pretty badass. And then I can't remember, it wasn't really specifically one issue, but it was from the Flesh and Blood storyline. So it starts in the early 50s, and it actually goes over several issues where he gets essentially killed, and he fights his way back to life by, just going through different animals, and basically he'll start in one animal, like a mite that's, microscopically small, that then gets eaten by, another animal that's a little bit bigger, that he takes over, and then gets, eaten by another one, and essentially works his way up the food chain until he's able to bring himself back to life. And then he ends up able to regenerate his body by getting a hold of some severed fingers from his original body, and is able to use his DNA from that to then make himself an entire brand new body. So that's that's pretty badass.
Yeah, that is.
Aquaman on land.
It's Aquaman. It's Aquaman on land. That's pretty funny.
Well, he doesn't really talk to the animals. That's what Bawana Beast can do. But but Buddy just replicates their powers. What their abilities.
Yep. Most definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So Gary, why don't you go ahead next for your badass moments?
All right. First, I'm going to give you one. Our good buddy Archduke Kevy, who is the creator of the comic character the Day site, that is the reason that we are all here together, is because we met on that site. So if that saddens you that you see us all here together, it's Kevin's fault. It's Archduke Kevin's fault.
That's right.
He introduced us. So
let's just blame him for everything else. It's fine.
Yeah,
when in doubt, it's Kevin's fault.
He'll be our scapegoat. So anyway, this is his favorite character, so I wanted to make sure he was included in this show. And so I asked him to give a badass moment, and here's what we got. His badass moment is Buddy has declared war on modern human society. He summons a massive force of cockroaches, rats, birds, and other available animals and surrounds Washington, D.C. in a truly awesome omnibus manner and claims that your infrastructure is vulnerable. We'll target it with specialized biological forces. The rodents will pour into your food markets and homes, eat your food, gnaw through your cables, TV, electric, and phones. Ants will invade your computers, termites devour your houses, gophers undermine roads and bridges, birds flock around airports, baffling your radar, and the viruses. Imagine what they will do. Animal Man number 71 I was in. So yeah, that's I think that qualifies as badass. That's a
Yeah.
that's a
Yes, it does.
that's a pretty tough threat right there, and not one you get every day. You know, you don't get that threat every day. That's a very thorough threat that I don't think you want him to you want him to carry through with.
Yep.
So that was Kevin's choice, and that's pretty awesome. One of mine was a variation of that, and that's the fact that he can get the aspects of a virus and infect your ass with it. Yeah, he can replicate a virus and put it in you and infect you. That, I mean, how do you fight that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that penicillin. That penicillin.
Yeah, he's getting you on a microscopic level there, man.
Yep.
So, I think that's as badass as it gets right there.
That's true.
So that's, I talk about small moments. That's a small moment in a whole different way. So the virus, and then Animal Man at one point had a villain called the Spider Queen he was dealing with, and the Spider Queen was a deity. So, and she was pretty damn powerful. So what Buddy,
Put it in you.
Yeah, exactly. If you're lucky. Spider Queen had to be defeated by another godlike power, and Buddy replicated God. He replicated God.
Jeez.
And I mean, wow, you talk about going to the top. He replicated the creator, and then he ended up grabbing the Spider Queen and eating her. So there you go. So not only can he do viruses, the smallest thing, even the biggest thing out there, God, he replicates God's power and eats another deity. Dunzo. That's it. So that's pretty badass when you can do that. Hell,
Right.
the Spectre didn't even do that. The Spectre couldn't even replicate God, and he's like his, he's like his most powerful one out there. So,
So, all right. So for my three badass moments, I actually had the replicating God situation, eating the Spider Queen. I also had he had the armor growing from Animal Man number 21, where he just regenerates his arm from using the power of the earthworms, which I thought was pretty cool. There's this badass moment. It's a badass moment, but also a sad moment. So he saves Red Mask, because it looks like Red Mask was going to kill himself. Talks him out of it, saves him, but then once Animal left the situation, thinking, "Oh yeah, I've saved this guy. He's not going to kill himself." He then decided to off himself. So he went all through this trouble to save this guy. It looked like he was successful. When he left, the guy went ahead and just went through with it anyhow. So very sad moment, but still a badass moment to talk someone out of killing themselves. I think that is a very badass moment in itself.
Well, that's what Jamie says. You never know what somebody's going through.
You never know what someone's going through.
And
So the fact that he actually talked him out of it, even briefly, is amazing.
Yeah,
is amazing. So those are my the three ones. My honorable mention, of course, was the March on DC, but I didn't read all of that yet, so I don't know the full story of that. So that's why I didn't have it in.
Well, Kevin.
Kevin gave it in length.
Yep. And Kevin was here he could actually talk about it. But no, he's not.
He's
So
booked
Jay's
on
up-
Thursdays.
Listen,
He's
listen.
booked on Thursdays.
Thursday is crazy quilting night. Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy
So,
quilt man night.
It's
Mhm.
crazy quilting night on Thursday.
Crazy
And-
quilting night.
And those quilters play hardball, so he knows not to miss a stitch.
Well, I think Thursdays is the night
see
that
what
he
you
The
So,
security for bingo.
I was gonna say it's when he's bouncing at the old folks' home.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Well, good for him. Good for him. All right, Jamie, you need some badass moments. Give us some badass moments.
Yeah, so I did have the arm rip off. So
Mhm.
I won't go into detail.
Okay.
But one thing no one talks about is his ability to break the fourth wall.
Oh, let me tell you one thing.
Oh,
If
oh.
Sonny was here, he would have the arm rip off for sure
Yeah.
on the figure,
Uncle
Yes,
Gary
he
would buy
would.
a second figure just so his arm's missing.
just so Sonny can rip his arm off.
Yes.
Hmm.
But yeah, his ability to
That's
break
why
the fourth
Sonny really got sick. His figures, much like in Toy Story, while he wasn't there, they revolted and they poisoned his food.
Oh,
That's funny.
but we digress.
All right,
I'm sorry.
sorry,
Jamie.
Jamie,
You
go
were
ahead.
on the roll.
But lastly, this is something I'll talk about later. But when Animal Man snaps on a group of paparazzi that are trying to get pictures and photos of him after his son just passed away, and he goes off on them, and then later on in this episode, I'll talk more about it.
Mm. Oh,
All
that's
right.
foreshadowing. Nice.
Foreshadowing. Very foreshadowing.
Now I gotta ask this: I didn't see it in any of the stuff that I've read for Animal Man, but so he could copy the, essentially his powers. He can get the powers, if you will, of
Abilities.
whatever animal he wants to.
Mhm.
People are, we're just evolved animals, so I don't recall seeing anything, but maybe you guys know. Wouldn't he essentially be able to then mimic any superhuman's power? Theoretically,
Isn't that technically a metagene though?
but it's still something that
So
is-
if he's replicating the animal down to the DNA level,
Yeah.
then yes.
I would
In
think
theory.
so. Yeah.
Maybe he hasn't
Like,
unlocked it yet.
Obviously he couldn't do it with any tech-based hero or cyborg or anything, but if it's a power in the person, he should be able to replicate that.
Well, you're right. And if he can do alien creatures, why couldn't he do Superman's?
Yeah, why couldn't you do Superman or Martian Manhunter
Yeah.
or Starfire or anyone?
Chris was telling me, Snoop was telling me earlier this evening, we were talking about, he remembers when he was, had lightning powers from the beast on, the lightning beast on the planet Wynneth, where Lightning Lad and his sister were from, from the Legion of Superheroes.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, yeah, so you would think he would get those powers. Yeah.
Yes, that's definitely. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to talk about reasons why we don't like this character. And I'll kick this one off because I don't have much, but just talking about everything we've just talked about right now with the badass moments, he's totally underutilized. Why is this character so much in the background? He could be doing so much more. I think whether it's writing with being the family man is great. I think they should accent that or try to bring that out more. I know it's kind of foreshadowing early for next, probably in our readings, but I think that's always a good motif or a good motive or a good what I was saying MO for heroes. It's a good motivational factor for heroes with the family man option, and I don't think they utilize that enough. Is he the only DC guy that breaks fourth wall?
No.
No, Harley
Bug
does.
Ambush Bug, too.
There's
What's up,
Wes.
Wes?
How you doing, Wes?
Hey, Wes. Yeah,
So-
Ambush Bug breaks it all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Batmite too.
Yes, Batmite, too.
Yeah,
Yep. So
but
I
Animal
think
Man
he's-
does it in a way that Animal Man's done it in a way that no one else really has. Like everyone else that breaks the fourth wall, like Deadpool, Ambush Bug, She-Hulk, like all of them do it in a comedic way. He does it in a very serious way.
Actually, I think it was more Grant Morrison breaking the wall than Animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like
true.
squeezing the panel further and further on people.
So true. So true. So I think he's very underutilized, and I think he should be brought to the limelight a lot more. So that's what I feel. Dan, how about you? I should catch you sipping some soda.
Well, I do like it when he does, is in some of this crossover stuff, and he's a superhero doing other superhero stuff, and that'll be reflected in my recommended readings. The one thing I would say I don't like is when he's just used as, all right, there's a group of superheroes, and like, oh, okay, there's Animal Man, and it's like he gets put in a group, and it's just, all right, go out and just do generic. All right, you can fly because you have bird powers, and now you have the power of a rhino, and you're really strong. Like when he's just used as kind of that generic thing because of the stuff that they've done with him in his own series, which again, like I believe is because he was not a popular character, so they could pretty much do whatever they wanted with him. But they've done all this experimental, storytelling type stuff with him that when you use him for just normal average superhero stuff, it's almost kind of a letdown.
I agree. Yep.
While that's like I said, I'll be reflected in my reading, my recommended readings. That's not always bad, but that's at this point, that's not really who the character is.
Right. Yep. Background filler. I totally agree, Stu. I think that's very true.
Yep.
All right, Dan. Gary, how about you? What you got?
Yeah, same thing. When he's put in a team book, I don't care for him in a team book too much because really he is he is so much a solo character. It's kind of like Swamp Thing in Justice League Dark. Is kind of it's a better fit, I think, though, than Animal Man in the iteration of Justice League he was in. But he was in with other C-list heroes, and it just didn't quite, or B-list heroes. It just didn't quite work. And his again, he's the Avatar of the Green. He's not some clown you're just going to put in a team and what they said, put him in the in the back row. So and he's underutilized, and I think this is a challenging character to write. And I have to believe that there's some writers that they may not want to even touch him after what Morrison did with this character, that that he set that bar pretty high and pretty inventive and experimental with how he was doing it. So there may be a stigma there that though I must admit Lemire did a hell of a good job.
I gotta say, Lemire touched him everywhere.
Yeah, he sure did. So Lemire did a hell of a job, but maybe those are two great runs, and after that, writers maybe they're a little intimidated by what those two guys done. Now, but everybody was fun in JLE. I mean, that's for sure. But I think I like Buddy as a more serious character, and especially what happened with his family dynamic with his son. He is he's not a jokester anymore. And I loved how they used his daughter in Green Hell.
Yeah,
Maxine with her powers.
Yes, I would think because of the nature of what Morrison and Lemire and some of these other guys have done with him, that it should be something that any writer should want to take, because literally, like all these writers have shown, you could do whatever you want with them. Like essentially at this point, nothing's off limits. So, go ahead and do something crazy, that you can't do if you write Batman or Spider-Man or something like that.
Well, I think Bougie was right, though. I just think other writers are afraid to take a swing at it because, that's what Morrison did. He went crazy with it, right? So how many directions of crazy can you go? You're going to be compared to him on anything you do that's way outside the box like that.
And, if you read the first 4 issues, because originally it was only supposed to be a 4-issue miniseries, it did well enough they extended it. But if you read the first 4 issues of it, it's nothing really crazy that Morrison does with it there. It's just kind of a standard 4-issue superhero miniseries. Yeah. It's not till issue 5 when they start doing the Wile E. Coyote thing that's when it starts getting into the weird stuff.
Yep. Keith is like, but gosh darn, wreck anyone for Galactus. That's funny. That's funny.
Oh, Galactus would break the fourth wall. He'd eat it.
Yeah, he would. This is delicious. All right, so I guess J-Dub, I think you're next on that list for.
Yeah. Well, I got to go with the team, except I got one team he was good with that I thought. But when he's on a team, he's so far in the shadows and so far in the clouds that that boy is finding Christmas presents. Like
Oh, I like that line. Nice.
he's not utilized. Every time they try to utilize the animal-based character, it's always of like Vixen or somebody else, and you're not taking this prime character that you have that can do it all and using him in the forefront where he should be. And it's sad to see like just him in the shadows, like hanging out with Batman, basically.
What's up, Bats? Okay.
You know,
All right,
and
very
he was
true,
used,
very true, very fair.
you know, and he was used like, you know, the way Morrison did, which was, you know, Morrison was, you know, a vegetarian, a vegan, and, you know, was very interested in environmental issues and just, you know, did everything with that through Animal Man. I mean, even says it in, oh, I forget which issue was it, 26, when he just said, he's like, yeah, this is what, you know, this is what I'm about. So that's what I made you about. But then they kept it.
And Buddy and Buddy became a vegetarian under Morrison's writing too.
Interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and jump to our next segment, which is top covers. And Jamie, do you want to go first for top covers?
Yeah, I'll go first for top covers.
All right, then let's see your top covers.
Okay, I thought you were pressing buttons.
Oh, I'm pressing buttons. I thought you were pressing those buttons. All
I
right.
was doing chat.
And you were doing the chat. That's right. Hold on.
I'll tell you what, Sal, you're pushing Jamie's buttons right now.
I am. I love it. There we
Nah,
go.
it's
Animal Man top covers. Jamie coming right up.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. Mhm.
Okay, the first one is just comical for me.
Yeah.
It's Animal Man 41, and it's literally a rooster with the egg, and there's a Triceratops coming out, and even the rooster's like, what the?
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know why, I love the cover. It just makes me laugh.
Yeah.
My next one is The Last Days of Animal Man. I like this because of the homage that it was from the very first issue,
Mm-hmm.
except everything's dead.
Yep.
And my
Including him.
last one, I threw in for Uncle Gary because it has
I
Swamp
like
Thing
it.
in it.
Yeah.
And I figured it just looked awesome the whole way through. And plus, it's from my favorite series line, New 52. So
That one
That
almost made my cut.
That was a
one
good
was-
run too.
Yeah.
that was an amazing run.
That Swamp Thing Animal Man crossover was just great.
Mm-hmm. All right. I shall go next for covers. There we are. And I, of course, chose the first one because I always like a good intro with that. Hey, Derek, how you
Yep.
doing?
Hello, Derek.
What's going on?
That was let's see, we got covers of Brian Bolin. You know, that's definitely just a classic in itself, intro type thing. Next up is Animal Man number 6. And can we guess the reason why this one's on there?
Did you say number 6? Look at that outfit. Woo, man.
Man,
She ain't
this is
wearing
Also
that's
by
an
Brian
when
Bolin.
I did these graphics, I didn't know she was wearing an outfit. I was staring for no reason.
She's not wearing, she's got about just as much as Hawkman has when he wears his outfit up top.
I
And she's
know,
less hairy.
Yeah.
And she looks a lot better than Hawkman, let me tell you
Yes,
that
she
much.
does. Yes, she
Well,
does.
I'm guessing Sal's going to save this one for whenever we eventually do a Hawk Girl episode. You'll see this cover again.
Maybe you will. Maybe you will, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see. And for my last one, Animal Man number 34, I like the hand morphing into the claw. He's got this badass look on his face. So I like this one as well. Also,
remember that cover. I'll have something to show you in conjunction with that.
all right, sounds good.
He's a
Also,
vegetable
a
lover.
Brian
Better
Bolin
be.
cover.
Yes.
All right, so who do we got next in the top covers? That would be Uncle Gary.
All right. Well, let's go with the middle one. Like Sal, I wanted to add the animal. Something's flooping.
Flop it out.
Flopping out. I wanted to add that Animal Man number 1 there, and that's by Brian Bolin because I knew that the one with the skeletal animals was going to be there, so I figured we had to have both represented.
Yep.
The one on the far right is Animal Man 18. That is Archduke Kevin's pick. That is also Brian Bolin, and that is really cool with all the animals and the metamorphic field that he's.
I think he picked it because of the cat. Doesn't he have a cat?
Yeah,
He
he's
loves
got a
cat.
cat. Yeah, well, all the
There
other
you go.
animals are pretty cool too. I think that's a pretty cool cover. So that was Archduke Kevy's cover there that he picked. And then
Awesome.
the one on the far left, again, it's Bolin. And it's number, what was that, 4?
Yeah.
You got Animal Man and Bawana Beast and a bunch of animals running around behind him. I don't know how you get any better than that. So that's you know, I think that's pretty good. That did it for me to see those two in a little tussle on the cover.
Yep. All right. So Dan, here come
Yeah,
your covers.
All right, so I'll start all the way on the right with the Last Days of Animal Man 1. You know, they already covered it. It's a cool homage to the you know, the cover, the first issue of his first ongoing series. So I put that there. The middle one, issue 35. I just thought that was really cool. The way it's almost like an old B movie, sci-fi movie type of poster, the Day of the Dread 2, and it's got the spaceships and it's him holding the damsel, and there's, you know, the Aztec pyramid there, and then the big radioactive kind of Godzilla monster coming after him. And I just thought that was a really cool, cool looking cover there. Then the one all the way on the right, number 5, that's when Morrison really started to oh yeah, thank you. That is a cool cover.
Yep.
That's the issue where Morrison really started to do more with him, other than just, this is just like a superhero type of guy. So I like how,
Sorry, put it back up there.
Oh, I was going to say the way that, the artist is, the Bolin cover where it's Bolin's hand, drawing him, the figure on the cover, and that's something that would be explored later on with what Morrison would do. I just thought that's such a cool cover.
Yes, it is. Very cool.
Yeah, I really love the 35. 35 is really great. There's another cover in that series that's close to it. Here's the one I wanted because of the cover Sal showed.
Yeah, let's put that up there. Hold on. There's JB. There we go.
So this is a reprise of that cover with the claw.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So before we jump to our next segment, we're going to go ahead and kick it up to some sponsors. Jamie, you're on this side. Why don't you give us our first sponsor tonight?
As always, you guys hear me talk about it every episode, but go check out Dubby Energy. Guys, this is the cleanest form of energy you're going to get in the market today. Nothing like those Red Bulls or Monsters, no bad aftertaste, no jitters, and no crash. Trust me, all the guys on the team have tried this, and they love it. And if you use the keyword code -X at checkout, you're going to save yourself 10% on any order. So go do that. And then our second sponsor of the night, if you can, throw it up for me, Sal, is Nirvana Comics.
Ooh,
this is...
I don't know what that thing is.
Oh, it's under caption.
It's under caption. Okay.
But it's Tim's only comic shop that he uses. He goes there frequently. They are amazing. They will find a comic for you because at Nirvana Comics, they have a comic for everyone, and they want to give it to you. And go check out their website, nirvanacomicsknoxville.com for more.
I'll throw that on there as well. Check that out. Yes, it's Tim's primary pull list for his comics. We know that because he raves about them every single time. I actually follow them on Facebook. They look like a bunch of great people. Always talking about good stuff about
very knowledgeable.
Tim says he gets expert pulls from them.
Expert pulls.
Yeah.
From them.
This is what Tim also says.
I was going to say Tim also had that to say.
What do you have to say?
He got the meat sweats. God, I love the meat sweats. All right.
Yeah, you're right. I'm smiling. When you get excellent pulls like that, and you get the right tug, your meat sweats. I get it. Yeah.
All right. For our next sponsor is coming from this guy right over here. Uncle Gary, do you have a sponsor for us tonight? Or you want to give a shout out to your guys as well?
All right. Comic Logic up here. We're Loudoun County, Virginia's only comic book store. If you're in the Northern Virginia area, please come out and say hi to us. We have a really big event coming up this weekend. It is almost day after tomorrow is Free Comic Book Day, and it's the May the 4th, it's Star Wars Day. And those two universes intersect in one point, and that's at Comic Logic, because we will have Mr. Brendan Wayne signing autographs at our shop. He plays the Mandalorian when the helmet is on, just like Dan, like that right there. That's Brendan Wayne right there. As soon as that helmet went on, that made
I
Brendan
hope they get stuck in the rest of the episode.
So Brendan Wayne is the
Right.
Mandalorian when the helmet is on. He will be at our shop. He'll also be right here at the Library of Comics. I will have royalty in this house, not because of the Mandalorian, but because he is John Wayne's grandson. So that's a big deal for me. I can't wait to meet him because John Wayne is my guy. So anyway, come see us there. And then also just the event we have our Spring Lot Con on May 19th, Sunday, May 19th. We turn our parking lot into a mini Comic Con. We got about 25 to 30 vendors there. There'll be comics. There'll be local authors, local artists. There'll be jewelry. There'll be toys. So please come, enjoy it. It's very family friendly. Dan and Sal came to our Fall Lot Con and enjoyed it a lot. So please come to our Spring Lot Con. We would love to make your acquaintance. And you could have another great intersection of things. You could have Comic Logic and the Codex Station intersecting in that place in that time in Northern Virginia. So if you're in the area, please come see us.
Oh,
Absolutely,
and
100%.
don't forget, if Uncle Gary tells everybody too, if you get a picture with him, Sal, or Dan during Free Comic Book Day or the Lot Con, and you post it on your social media tagging us in it, I'll do a drawing and get you guys a free mystery pack.
Well, there you go. Who wouldn't want a mystery pack? There you go. It'll
That's
be
awesome.
A
That's
surprise.
awesome.
We all love
Yep.
surprises.
I will definitely be at the Mandalorian Free Comic Book Day events, so you will definitely see me there.
I'll be there for as well.
All right, very good. All right, so now let's move on to our next segment, and this is Essential Readings. So, Dan, why don't you go ahead and kick us off first for Essential Readings? And I've got to pull them up because apparently I'm pressing the buttons. There it is.
Yeah, you're learning today.
All right, so the first one I got on the list there is Flesh and Blood. Like they talked about, Kevin, this is his favorite character. So when Jamie picked it, I texted Kevin and I said, all right, Animal Man's your favorite character. What is it you recommend? And of course, he proceeded to just say, issues 1 through 86 of Volume 1, issues 1 through, he basically just listed every Animal Man series. I'm like, all right, seriously, Kevin. So the one that he said is his absolute favorite, Animal Man series or storyline is Flesh and Blood, which began in Animal Man issue 51. And that's where his wife, Ellen, her uncle had their son, Cliff, and basically Cliff was staying with him, and then he just runs off with him, and you come to find out some very sinister stuff about Dudley, that he's essentially the opposite of Animal Man when it comes to the way that you treat animals and people, and is kind of starting to twist Cliff. So Buddy goes after him and tries to find him and gets run over and killed, and then that's the storyline where he comes back to life by starting as a mite, and then going to another animal, then getting eaten by another animal, and just working his way up the food chain, and eventually is able to save Cliff, take out Dudley, and all that. But it's a very interesting storyline about kind of the idea of what it is to exist, to what it is to be a person, and then the storyline that follows it up, which I think is in the same graphic novel, is after he comes back, the family dealing with him being back and everything with that. The next one I have on there is the, I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Deus Ex Machina.
Yep, what he said.
Or Machina.
Machina.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's from Animal Man, the same series, Animal Man Volume 1. It's issues 18 to 26. That's the final story arc that Grant Morrison had done. And that's when it got really into Animal Man breaking the fourth wall, when his his family is killed, and then he, kind of loses a little bit, goes after the guys that killed him, and then, it all culminates in issue 26, which was the final issue that Morrison wrote, but it's the one where he essentially pulls Animal Man into, like, the quote unquote real world. And the whole issue is just them kind of talking, and him, telling them, like, oh yeah, this happened because I wanted it to happen. And, and I could make you do this. I can make you do that. He's saying as a writer, and, he's getting mad at Morrison, saying, like, you killed my family for nothing. And it's just a very, very interesting read. It was my favorite, that issue 26 is my single favorite issue of Animal Man. And then the one on the bottom, it's not anything that's as experimental as these. It's just a fun adventure superhero story, countdown to adventure, that happened when DC was doing all the stuff with Infinite Crisis and 52 and all that. And like I said, that one is just a fun read. It's I think 8 issues, and it's Animal Man teaming up with Starfire and Adam Strange, and it's just kind of an odd pairing for all of them. And like Starfire is staying with Animal Man's family, and Animal Man's son is having the feelings that I think any red-blooded adolescent boy would have with Starfire staying in their house. But it's just a good fun fun read.
I forgot about that story. That was a really good miniseries.
Yeah, the artwork's good on it. It's a cool adventure, and it's not as and it's more. I wanted to put something in there with as serious as those other 2 storylines were, something that was a little more just lighthearted and fun.
Yeah, that is very good. I forgot all about that. I enjoyed that.
All right, cool. So let me go ahead and jump to my recommended readings. All right, so I went with Animal Man Volume 1 through 10, because I love a good intro. This is definitely a good intro for him. So as for any character that I'm pretty much new to, I always want to go to the intro of the character. There you go.
Bougie.
Yep. Yeah, Bougie. Yep. Dan always picks good stories. He does. So I always like the intro of a character that I do not know a lot of. So it gets me more familiar with the character. So that's why I recommend this one. For Anima Volume 2, 1 through 5, The Hunt. This is a pretty good story. This is where he transitions from a superhero to a family man, and Maxine's developing her abilities and stuff like that. So it's definitely, and I think this also begins the transformation that leads them to the red, if I remember right, as well. So this is definitely one to check out because it leads to the red. And of course, the Animal Man Volume 2, 12 through 16, Rot World. This is the actual one where they do deep dive into the red, and he finds his connection through there. So this is definitely something to check out. So Uncle Gary, why don't you go ahead next with your readings, if I can find your recommended readings. There you are.
All right.
Oh.
Okay. So first off, the first one I had Kevin pick, and I would have picked this also, but since this is his character, and let's read what he wrote about it. Animal Man, Flesh and Blood, Animal Man 51 to 63. This is the beginning of his integration into the Vertigo imprint, and they start to explore what Buddy's really capable of. This is also when they establish Animal Man's connection to the metamorphogenic web, or the red, the biological parallel to Swamp Thing's botanical, the green. So there you go. Those were Kevin's exact words on it. And Flesh and Blood, as we've already covered, is an integral part of the Animal Man mythos. So it is definitely a must read. Animal Man number 5, volume 1 is a single issue that is just as trippy as it gets, and that's the Coyote Gospel, and that's where a coyote, just like Wile E. Coyote, it's the parallel to him, just keeps getting killed, and you realize that these cartoon characters feel pain, and then he's given a almost Christ-like choice to make. if he sacrifices himself for the greater good. And it's just, Morrison was on another plane when he's thinking up some of these situations. But it's a really interesting book. If it's one of the, you read that as a single comic, and after, as Dan had said earlier, Animal Man 1 through 4 was very much standard, straightforward superhero fare, and then they decided to make this an ongoing, and Morrison's like, oh yeah, well, okay, you giving me free license? Let's see what I can do. And he comes up with that, and it's an amazing, just an amazing single issue. Animal Man, and I don't want to give away more of it because it needs to be read. Animal Man trade paperback volume 3. Trade paperback number 3 of volume 2 was the Rot World, the Red Kingdom, and that was where they had it also has a couple Swamp Things issues in it, because it was a really interesting crossover that Animal Man and Swamp Thing did at the time, where it covered like 7 issues of Swamp Thing and about 7 issues of Animal Man.
Yeah. Wasn't Snyder writing Swamp Thing at that time?
Yes.
Okay.
And when like 5 of the 7 issues dealt with the characters within their own book, and that's okay. And 2 of the 7 issues were kind of where they came together and they intersected. And so it's just kind of interesting how they had parallel storylines going on. And then I think issue 12 and issue 17 of each title was where they really intersected. But if you're reading about Animal Man, you want his trade, and you'll get those 2 Swamp Thing issues in with it also. And that's where the red and the green took on Arcane's Rot. And it was a hell of a tale.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Good stories, Uncle Gary. Good stories.
Thank you.
All right, Jamie, this brings us to you for recommended readings. And boom.
Yeah, so last one on there is Rot World. I don't think I got to go too much more into that. Pick it up. It's great fun read. I have Justice League United. Now, this is the only one that I felt that Animal Man felt like he was part of a team. And that is basically Adam Strange is going on his own adventure and meets up with the likes of Animal Man, Martian Manhunter, Green Arrow, Hawkman, and Supergirl, I believe, in that series. And I can't stress it enough. I thought it was great. But lastly, if you had to pick one comic to read, I would read Animal Man 19 from New 50. I didn't realize, but all my picks were New 52.
Yes, you did.
What a shock.
Yeah. But Animal Man 19 is one of the only issues that ever almost brought me to tears reading it. And it deals with the death of his son, how his family's coping with it, the mother not wanting to get out of bed. It just deep dives into what a superhero that has a family goes through, and has that scene in it where I talked about earlier. He snaps into paparazzi because they asked if him and his wife were getting a divorce, and he loses it on them. So it was just an emotional book. If anybody wants to pick up one of these titles on mine, number 19 would be my pick.
Very
good.
Very good.
Very good. Yeah.
Good stories. Good stories.
Absolutely.
Let me show that because I think that's important. Bougie says the JLU was a good book. Yes, indeed. All right, so this goes ahead and moves us to our next segment for the character, and that is going to be Best Artist and Best Author. Now, these are two guys that don't necessarily have to be on the same book at the same time, but when we think about this character tonight, these are the ones that we go to. And Uncle Gary, why don't you go ahead and kick us off for this one?
All right, for Best Writer, with a great deal of respect for Jeff Lemire and what he did on it, he did a fantastic job. But I got to go with Grant Morrison because he took a character that wasn't being used, wasn't being utilized, and he got so out of the box on it, so creative, so trippy with it, that what he did with that character is still, resonates in the in the realm of just great storytelling that is told in a non-traditional sense. So I think Grant Morrison just, he set the bar so high that, I wonder if other writers aren't as bold as Lemire that are going to come out there and try to write something with this character because they just, can't surpass it. Now for the artist, now here I did what I don't usually like to do, and that's reward a cover artist that's not doing the interiors. But damn, Brian Boland's covers were just spectacular.
I have to agree with you on that.
Yeah, he didn't just do 4 or 5. He did dozens of them, and they were all interesting and just insane and so varied, the subject matters he would have on there. And Boland's one of my favorite artists anyway. Back to I turned you on to Camelot 3000. That was my first work where I got to know his great work. But those Animal Man covers are just through the roof. That he's the guy. He's my guy. He's my artist, and Morrison's my writer.
Okay, very good. Dan, how about you? Who do you have?
I'm going a completely different direction and choosing the exact same guys that Gary did. I mean,
oh boy,
we wouldn't be doing this show talking about Animal Man. Animal Man would not be Kevin's favorite character if it wasn't what Grant Morrison did with him. He would, if it wasn't for that, he would just be probably just languishing in obscurity, or would just be a regular, typical kind of superhero.
He'd be hanging out with Moana Beast.
Yeah, and and then Boland, like you said, the covers. It's not that the artwork in his series were bad.
No, they weren't.
But when you look at the covers, you're like, man, why can't Boland just do like one issue? Because the artwork on the covers was so great, and the covers really told a story themselves too.
Because Boland is so
yeah, he's. But yeah, I had to go with Boland, as my artist too.
Yep.
But I think what would be interesting, would be, whenever he starts writing comics again, would be to see what Donnie Cates could do with him, because some weird stuff, that you could do with Animal Man seems exactly up the alley of some of the stuff that Donnie Cates is known for writing. And then I would have him team up with his frequent collaborator, Jeff Shaw, who he does a lot of stuff with too. I think, if they were given an Animal Man series and say, hey, go run wild and do something crazy, I think they could do something really cool.
Snoop is right. Boland's dread work is crazy. You know what Boland is? Boland at this point, he's a designated hitter. He's the DH. He doesn't play the field. He just walks up to the plate and he hits dingers. And that's exactly what he does with all the covers he does. Bam! Get in the field. I don't need my glove. I'm not doing any glove. I'm not fielding ground balls. I'm not catching pop flies. I'm walking to the plate and I'm hitting that sucker out of the damn stadium. When you're that good, you're that good, baby. So, yes, Killing Joke, too. That's right. The Killing Joke and Camelot 3000. Yep.
All right, Jamie, who do you have for best artist and author?
Well,
be different. Be different.
Jeff Lemire is my writer.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Okay, that's good.
Still a fair. It's still a fair one.
No, I think that it was my first instance of Animal Man, and I felt like it connected more to me than everything else. It's weird to explain, like, especially with the crossover, especially with his storytelling of, like, he's a hero with a family, but this is going to happen to him.
Is that your first case of animal magnetism?
Yes.
And his daughter, not in the current Flash series, but the one, before this, his daughter was in it pretty frequently the last year or two of it.
Have you? That's right. She was. She's a friend of the Flash kids, Wallace kids. Mm-hmm. Have you read Green Hell, Jamie?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you got Maxine in that too.
Yes, and that I was like rolling, like, oh my god. But my artist is Chris Batista.
Okay,
valid choice.
That's also a good one. That's also a good one. All right. So for mine, I can't really go any different. I'm going to go with Brian Boland and Grant Morrison. These are two.
I'll
like,
be the
Gary
odd
said,
man out.
You could be the odd
Oh,
man out.
I would say, what a surprise! Jamie is the contrarian.
Yeah, this he is. But but these are all valid choices. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, well, the Muir's run was no slouch. It was
Yeah.
no
Oh yeah,
slouch
the
at
Bears
all.
run was good.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this goes ahead and wraps us up. Do we guys have any final thoughts on Animal Man tonight? Does anybody in the
I feel
the
like there
comments
needs to
section
be
want
another series,
to?
at least within the next year, announced at least. Like,
You
Hopefully.
said it just it depends on which writer has a wild idea, because I feel like that's what Animal Man needs for an
Wild.
ongoing series. Like, I feel like he kind of works best when he's appearing in someone else's book. It's like, all right, he's the kind of happy, fun-loving family man guy, and then when he's in his own series, it's okay. This is going to be some really wild, bizarre stuff that goes on here.
So many writers have taken a crack at Swamp Thing, who's such a great character, and also has had, anybody that does Swamp Thing, you're still in the shadow of Len Wein, Bernie Wrightson, and Alan Moore, what they've done in Total Bin with the art there, but they still take shots at it. And maybe it's because Swamp Thing is a visually dynamic character to look at, and maybe Animal Man's not as much. But I would love to see more people take a shot with this character like they do with Swamp Thing, and take that challenge on. But maybe it's because he doesn't have the visuals that that attracts the artists and the writers to doing Swampy.
And I know that Kevin said before, even though Animal Man's his favorite character, he's not a fan of his costume. He said before that he thinks he needs a much better costume. And I asked him, I was like, well, what should it be? And he's like, I don't know, but it should be something better.
Well, he had on the title card, we had the other costume,
Blue and white one,
costume, the blue and white one, and then there's this one. They're both. I think they're both interesting.
They're both. I mean, the blue and white one's not that dissimilar to that one. It's almost just a color swap.
Okay, very good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can go ahead and wrap this one up and put it in the books. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for chiming in the chat. I really appreciate your comments. As always, I am your host, Sal the Slab Guy, and when I'm not here on Codex, you can always find me on Sal's Comic Corner on YouTube or under Instagram as the Slab Guy 77. And speaking of Instagram, you can find this guy down there on Instagram as well. Dan, give a little shout out to where you can find him. Right there.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art, where I post art, and I'm going to start posting music again on there soon, a few times a week. So go give me a follow, give me some likes. Commissions are open. I got a couple I'm working on for some people now that I will be posting after they get it and do what they do with them.
How many subscribers you got now?
I don't know. 800 something.
He's got 800. We need to get him to 1,000. 1K for DK.
What do we got to do, Gary?
You got to carry that big D across the line, baby.
We got to get it across. We got to drag it. We got to drag it. We got to drag it across the
drag it across the line. That's right.
It's here. I'll tell you real quick. I am currently sitting at 845 followers.
All right,
Okay.
That's a very healthy number. And
It
Dan's artwork is hanging in my house, in my library. It's beautiful stuff, and I've commissioned him to do a few things. So that is a very and for y'all that don't know, he is a CGC registered artist. So if he does a sketch cover for you, that can be sent to CGC, and you get a gold label with it, and it comes back to you. And because he's done that sketch that sketch cover for you, that is a one-of-one item. There is no other one like it in the world. That is the only copy that will exist of that book.
Yeah. But after you're done checking out my Instagram, I'm not the only one that's got stuff going on. You're talking franchise. You're talking money. You're talking notoriety. You're talking women. You're talking the kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun. He's kissed all the girls and made them cry, but he doesn't do it anymore because it'll make his wife mad. He's the curator of the Library of Comics, the Ric Flair of comics.
Woo!
That's Uncle Gary.
Thank you for that. That's why you are my road manager. You're my man. You are the best road manager fella could have. Yeah, kissing those other girls, that went by the wayside quite a few years ago because that redhead will kill me. I ain't afraid of no man, but I am afraid of her. So there you go. You can find me at Comic Logic. That is Loudoun County, Virginia's only comic book store.
Hey, thanks,
Thanks for
Bougie.
dropping in, Bougie. Thank you, brother. We're Loudoun County, Virginia's only comic book store. Please come in and say hi. You can catch me there every Wednesday, getting that 4-color ink in these veins right here. And I've told you all before, reading comic books make you strong. You start off just with a few books, then you got a stack, then you got a short box, then you got a long box, and you're toting them things, and then you are jacked after that, baby. Mix in a few push-ups too. That'll help. So anyway, come see me at Comic Logic. And also a lot of love we want to give out to, we've talked about him a lot tonight, Archduke Kevy. Archduke Kevy founded the Comic Character of the Day site. He is the reason that we are all acquainted, and we're doing Animal Man in his honor. I do a cover of the day. Dan does a question of the day, a random panel of the day. Sal is always contributing, and Jamie, just like he does on the station, he's ever vigilant. He is always watching, making sure that we are giving you quality content that you deserve. And speaking of Jamie, the creator, the founder, the builder, the architect of this great channel, the reason that you are getting programming like this that fills your comic needs that you need deep down in your soul is because that man had a vision. He had a vision a few years ago, and he made that vision a reality. He didn't just dream it. He built the whole damn some bitch from the ground up. The one, the only J-Dub.
I love that every time. But as always, guys, you know what I'm about to say. Go check out the CodexStation.com. It's your one-stop shop for everything Code X. Get some merch, meet the team. Let us know what you like and don't like. And there's something I'm forgetting that we want to give to everybody. I think Uncle Gary might be able to help out with that.
I can help out with this. Listen, it's not just me. Everyone you see here, we have all the socials, and we would like nothing better than to give them to you.
Yeah, so go check us out. Thank you guys again. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next one.
All right.
Take care, everybody. Have a 9.8 day.
Yep.